Hello and welcome back to my channel, and thanks for rejoining me for my Holmes basic Dungeons and Dragons solo campaign. The characters are having a temporary respite from the current Tower of Zenopus adventure. They decided to leave the dungeon and return for some healing. They are under quite a bit of pressure as a group, and as a consensus they decided that they'd rather recuperate, see if they could get healing potions, which they managed to get from Porthaven, the town watch leader. They subsequently returned to the Salty Siren, and that's where we find them just now. They are ruminating, probably the next morning, and let's get them set up. We've got a little table from HeroQuest that we can use. Now that is in play as one of my campaigns, I think I am at liberty to maybe use the tables. The tables are very useful for visualizing. So we've got all our characters about. Weberan. Who have we got? We've got Weberan in red, Beska Miltar in light green, Candela, our cleric, in blue, Argenta, our leader, our fighter, in white, and Farah, our female elf, in dark green. So, as I said, we are ruminating, we are discussing. We have some what I call practical considerations to go through. And the DM alludes to the fact, he says, right, okay, player characters, I admit that I have not calculated all our experience points just now, and I will do a reckoning and summary of them after the next adventure session into the dungeon. This is on the basis that you have not really accrued too many points. It's not going to make any meteoric rise up levels, but do not despair. I am on this case. I am aware of it. It is one of my little items on my checklist for me to do. And also the characters they kind of ruled out further equipment purchase the previous evening. But on reflection, the characters do concur, and after further discussion, that maybe some additional missile power and offensive flexibility might be beneficial. So before they venture out, they will visit the equipment shop in Porthaven, and we'll seek that out. Probably ask Gormadoc where exactly that is. And then the other thing they have, in fact, they've been quite busy chatting away. They've been, obviously the HeroQuest table has been a bit of a catalyst to the discussion, a bit of a round table job. On recruitment, they have also been mulling over the composition of their party. And they feel a need to have a thief if they plan future adventuring and dungeon delving. Yes. So if the grizzled beggar returns up, that's the one we met the previous day. He was actually an informer too. They will see what he knows. And he did offer useful information. So, hopefully we can cash in on that. We sensed the fact that he knew more than he was, possibly his visage was giving out. He didn't look too impressive to us initially, but who knows, he might have some hidden depths that we can mine for further Porthaven information. Okay, so speak of the devil, the beggar informer turns up. He is known to passers-by and the tavern occupants as Janglebones. And he's actually quite a sharp operator in the town. So he appears that morning at the Salty Siren and sees the party having breakfast. They call him over. They say, "Come over here. What is your name? We never really asked you." And he said, "My name is Janglebones," for obvious reasons. He explains that on their questioning about, do you know anything about us trying to get recruitment of a thief? How would we do that? Are there any means? And he explains that the Guild of Shadows operates in Porthaven, and he has contacts within its ranks to follow up any of the characters' inquiries. Yes, so we say absolutely. We really would like it while we are away delving, for you to maybe continue with your inquiries, see what your contacts have got to say. He did say, well, actually, if I do if I do furnish some names of candidates, which you will consider on your return from the tower, I will require a finder's fee of 1 gold piece. And we say that is probably okay. Is it subject to whether these candidates are in our view, acceptable or suitable? And he says, well, it is a flat rate. Are you going to, he's playing a reasonable hardball game with us. We say, well, for 1 gold piece, with the riches that we are going to return with when we come back from this tower, that will be a mere trifling. And he says, I do admire your confidence. Let us see when you come back. I have keeping my eye on all the taverns, so I will notice when you return to town, and then I will catch up with you then. So we say thank you very much, Jangle Bones. Is it Jangly Bones or Jangle Bones? He's quite adamant about that. So we have we've got 2 leads. We've got our equipment shop that we need to follow so that let's see if we can get some more equipment, and we've also got this potential of getting a recruitment, another one of our party with a specific skill base that we can use for further dungeon delving. If we don't find a suitable candidate, we haven't really lost out. We've still got quite a tight unit, but we just got the feeling that maybe a thief might be quite a good complement in our skill set. Okay, final thing that characters need to discuss, and which I alluded to in the last video, was the dungeon strategy, and on our return to the Tower of Zenopus. So the characters also need to determine the appropriate strategy on return. Is it going to be to further the objective of the Amulet of Power, or a revisiting of the catacombs? So we have our little map that we take out just to have a look at, high level. When we came into the tower, we came down these stairs and we went to this crossroads. We didn't go down to the south. We headed further west. Empty room, goblin room. We went through into spider room, spider room here, up this corridor into the catacombs, and that's where we met a bit of a hard time in the catacombs. You will recall that we had this pictorial reference to the catacombs, where some of the sarcophagi were open and some were closed. And one of the first ones we tried to open, we got the dancing dagger of death, which affected our poor old Weberan. So let's have a bit of a consensus around the table and see what they want to have a bit of a chat about, whether they can argue their case. And we will take it in order of my character sheets. And we've got Candela, the cleric, first. And she argues that she wants to keep to mission. She thinks it's important that we stick to the plan. This is the objective, the Amulet of Power. This is where the great reward is. Everything else is tentative. A bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. And we haven't even got the bird in the hand. So all these mixed metaphors aren't really working, but basically she wants to get on with the mission. So that is Candela in the mission camp, so we'll just put her over there. What about Argenta, our leader? And she is tempted by the sarcophagi. She says, well, we are replenished. We also know in advance what is the what has happened in that particular catacomb. Surely there is some some great treasures that we could find. However, I think I am erring on the side. I am going to have to side with Candela. I believe that the mission is primary. That also aligns with my profile, which is a knight champion, and as with the Zealous Crusader that Candela is, we will probably want to stick to mission. So I go into that camp. And then we have Farah, and Farah is she is our Lost Forest Dweller elf. She is maybe a bit torn, and it's almost like she's in the position just now where she just basically wants to please everyone. So she says, well, I have not really any strong feelings. However, I think I would rather go with the mission side, and I will fall in on that side. Okay. Then we come to Weberan. Now, Weberan is he has been quite vociferous in the need for expedient execution of dungeon exploring. So he says, look, we only scratched the surface in those catacombs. I can feel it. I can feel it emanating through my tattoos. Just this pulsating feeling of treasure in that room. If we just hold our nerve, I'm sure we can explore that and then move on and get our mission. Maybe we could even liberate some treasure first, take it back, bank it, and then carry on. And they say, well, that's quite a convincing argument, Weberan, but you have not persuaded us. However, I am going to stay in this camp. I am the catacomb camp. And then Beskar Miltar, he probably just wants to, again, a bit like Ferres, he doesn't really want to rock the boat. And he says, look, Weberan, I do sympathise with what you have to say. And now that I have my +1 magic dagger, I feel quite invigorated and almost want to come along, almost lured by your audacity, by your courage. But I must follow my magic user path, which is basically one of sobriety and staying at the back. So I will go with the rest and I will stick to mission. So we have an 80-20 split. So I would say that is percentage dice. 0, 1 to 80, we go with the flow. We stick with plan. But if Weberan gets 81 or above, he has persuaded us with his amazing. Well, he has a charisma of 13, so he might be quite persuasive, especially if he's got. Ooh, maybe he is very persuasive. So that looks as though our strategy is made up for us. 99. Now, short of getting 100, you can't get any more adamant. So Weberan says, right, you have seen sense. you have fallen under my leadership for this. And Argenta says, look, Weberan, look, we just think that maybe you have a point. Let us visit these catacombs. If we don't feel that we are actually getting anywhere, what we will do, we will break and then return to mission. And he says, yes, I have triumphed. I say, okay, whatever you want, Weberan. So we get back round the table. We say, right, okay, less of this talking. Let's have a bit more action. So moving on, we go to commencing the adventure. And Gormadok, he does actually explain. So Gormadok pops out. He says, yeah, there is an equipment shop. It's run by an old veteran. He's called Garum the Smith. It's located in the market centre near where the town watch is based. So we can trundle on down. We say, goodbye, Gormadok, we're off again. We are going to the equipment shop first, and then after that we are going to head out to the Tower of Zenopus. And he says, well, I wish you well. Gormadok's cat, who is called Salem, as we pop out the door, will it hiss at Weberan? We get the D6 going. Let's see what happens. I'll get my little shaker. 2, So a 2 is yes. On a 1 to 3, it will hiss at Weberan. On a 4 to 5, it's going to run, or a 6, it will try to scratch him. So it merely hisses at Weberan, and he goes, ugh. And Gormadok gives him a bit of a scowl. He says, I remember my cat. I'm very attached to my cat. Begone, barbarian. You're obviously upsetting him. You're putting it off his fish. So we trundle off out. What we have to do is we have to move between zones. We have to move between the dock area and the market center. So that is going to require a zone movement. And what we do is we get our encounter sheet out. And I think it was a 6. If I just have a look at my sheet on that, I believe it was a 6. Yeah. Porthaven navigation. Yes, if we roll a 6 on a d6 whenever we move between zones, we get an encounter. So, just a bit of feedback. I suppose it was quite an extraordinary result from Weberan. The fact that he was so convincing in the end, and maybe we could have said that the odds were less, but 99. Really, I can't ignore that. Obviously the gods have intervened and saying, look, you must. Maybe there's something in the catacombs that points to the amulet of power. Maybe that is what is guiding us. Who knows? I have some creative input into this. Maybe there is a method to Weberan's madness. So yeah, all the die rolls are going a bit crazy today. We are going to have an encounter. So as we proceed out of the dock area and head towards the market center, we do have an encounter. So we're going to have a 1d10 for that. So I'll get my d10 out. You never know, we might bump into Django Bones again. See what he's got to say. 6 is, yeah, it's 1 drunken sailor and 1d4 townspeople. A sailor stumbles out of a tavern, loudly singing and bothering passers-by. The town people are trying to ignore him. The sailor has 1d10 in gold. Have we time for this nonsense? This japery? I do not think so. We have a mission. we want to relieve these catacombs of their contents. So we have 1d4 townspeople. Let's just have a little bit of a scene first. Find where my d4 is. So we're going to have 2 townspeople. So this drunken sailor, he comes stumbling out in front of us. There are 2 townspeople that are just being, be quiet. It's only the morning, and look how drunk this guy is. I think he is drunk from last night, and he's just become inebriated once again. Stay away from us, and we are trying to weave and avoid him. I think what we can do is we have not really got the time to deal with him. We just get out of his way, and it's maybe on a 1 in 6. He pursues us and tries to tell us a bit of a sea story, but no, we managed to escape, and we are heading towards the equipment shop. We reach the equipment shop, and the equipment shop in Porthaven. So we come in the door of the equipment shop, and we can have a little table again. We can use that. We can have let's see, an old veteran. We'll have this as the old veteran. We can use the Hero Quest weapons rack. That's a bit of authentic color. Just put it around the right way. So we've got the shields. You probably can't really see that too well on a top-down view, but that will maybe give you a bit of an idea. And the shop is dimly lit. It's a low-beamed building, smelling of oiled steel and sea salt. What an eclectic mix. Weapons hang on pegs along the walls. There are racks of spears and halberds, which are standing near the door, and the counter has a battered shield leaning against it. The proprietor is Garon the Smith. He is a gruff, scarred ex-soldier who sells decent steel, no questions asked. So he's a very straight character, gruff, quite stoutly built. You know, if we peer over the counter and we realise that he's only got one leg, and he's got a wooden stump, wooden leg, just in place of his lower leg. So he has definitely been in the wars. There's no messing with this chap. There is a chance that there is a shortage. There's a 25% chance that there is a shortage. Maybe a recent pirate raid or military skirmish has dried up the supplies and prices are up, or some items are unavailable. So based on the die rolling that we've been getting this morning, I am probably sure that there's probably going to be a shortage, but let's just find out. We get, yes, well, that is a D12, which has gone with it, but who cares, because that's a 0. Let's just, for completeness, we got an 8. Would you believe it? There is, Garon says, I must apologise in advance. There has been a bit of a shortage due to these treacherous pirates. There is a bit of a shortage on some of the equipment. However, I am hoping that your needs are tame, are not extensive, and I can give you all that you need. For some reason, he's got a bit of an Irish twang to him, but yeah, maybe it's because I've been doing too much of my Shattered Isle videos where I bring out my Scottish accent, and I'm trying to get a neutral accent, and for some reason I'm going into slightly Irish there. Maybe I should just make him a wee bit like that. So he says, apologies in advance, we don't have all the stuff that you might need. What exactly would you like? So we had to discuss this, and what Weberan says, well, look, I'm a bit of a barbarian, as you might see with all my tattoos and whatever. I could really do with a pair of throwing axes. Do you have them to order? And he says, well, just let me check my inventory. Throwing axes, yeah, let's just have a look and see whether I've got them on the stocks. So just get to the we've got a list of stuff here, and we've got hand axes. Yeah, 3. I would say we're maybe an 80%. We've got both, and 100% we've got all of them. So I'll make sure that I don't use my D8 this time, or my D. Where is my? Here it is. So an 80% chance we've got both. So there's a good chance. So we get a 75. Yes, just. And he says, you're in luck, young barbarian. I have got 2 fine hand axes for 3 gold pieces each. And I say yes. I will take a note of that. And we have our little inventory thing where we had our potions of healing. And what I will do, and the Dungeon Master says, don't worry, I will keep a note. I am omnipotent. I will take a note of all your purchases, and we will have 2 hand axes. And Weberan thinks Worth is an appropriate weapon for his culture. That is going to be quite useful. He can lob them in combat when they, if it is required. He has felt the need at times for that flexibility. And the only other character that really wants to arm herself with something, because we already have our short bow with Thera, would be Argenta. And Argenta is a bit iffy about missile weapons. She doesn't really want a crossbow or anything like that. She says, that doesn't really appeal. That's a kind of a peasant's weapon, really. And, I'm not really into archery and stuff. However, what I think I could maybe do with, I could maybe go down the hand axe route, but it just seems a bit barbaric to me. Maybe I should just go for the art of the dagger throw. And if I get another couple of daggers, yes. And of course, Garon the smith, he's delighted. He says, yes, this is my lucky day. Again, I'm going to do an 80% chance that we get everything that we need. We get 2, but otherwise we can only get 1. So, 81. And he says, ooh, we've got a bit of a problem there. We really only got, I've only got 1 in stock just now. Will that do? And she says, well, okay, I will take 1 dagger. Any discount for that? And he says, no, it's not going to happen. But we'll give you a dagger for 3. Just looking at any of the other characters, have we got any spare ones that we can maybe give to? We've got a chainmail, and we've got a mace, a sword, chainmail, leather, pack, dagger. So Beske Miltar says, look, I have got my old dagger. Why don't I give that to you, Argenta? And she says, well, that's very kind of you, Beske Miltar. I will take you up on that, and that's saved us 3 gold pieces as well. So we conclude our transactions with Garon the smith. He looks delighted. There's actually a smile cracking out on his face. He wishes us a good day and good luck with our adventuring. He says, you will need it. Or we say, well, we've already been down the Tower of Zenopus and we came back. And he says, well, that is quite an achievement. So we are ready to trundle on out. And according to our sheet, it says, we will roll an encounter check on zone movement from the docks, and then after visiting the shop for an outbound travel to the east of the town where the ruins are. So we on the track record that we have so far, we will be getting an encounter. So what is it going to be? No, we do not get an encounter. So we managed to get beyond the boundary of the town. We are out. We approach the ruins. We do see the familiar steps leading down into the Tower of Zenopus. And what I need to do is I need to find where my sheet is. And we do have a bit of a strategy, because what we've said is that we want to go to the catacombs first. So Dungeon Master says, right, we have you have the ability, because you've already mapped this out. I'll show you in the rulebook that if you are moving normally, however, I would urge caution and say that you should really move at an exploring and mapping speed, or maybe slow down your pace. And in that case, you might be an alert for any wandering monsters that I might have. And on the wandering monsters, I am going to be bringing in that rule now. So this makes the dungeon even more dangerous. And the party says, well, okay, we do hear you, Dungeon Master. However, we are, time is precious. I think we're just going to head forward, moving normally, which is 480 feet per turn. So that's a 10-minute turn. So I reckon that's going to take us, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's going to probably take us all the way to the, I can just find where my actual other sheet, oh, it's under here. Yeah. That is definitely going to take us all the way there, because there's no way there's more than 48. So we head on, we light our torch, and let's maybe be a bit conservative and not just go headlong as if this hasn't been explored. I will say that we get to let's go a bit more cautiously, and we'll maybe go at 2/3 pace, so we can maybe go 30 of these in one turn. So we had a little sheet, and we'll start this again. We'll call it the tower take 2, and we're going to have our first turn of movement. let's move. We go through this door. We go through this door. This has been an empty room. We go into this room which had the goblins in it. And remember, we'd stashed away 1,000 copper pieces, and that had been taken. Um, is 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 there anybody in this? Would there be a chance? I would think there might be a very slim possibility that we might have to have a wandering monster check in rooms that have been occupied in the past. And the Dungeon Master says, yeah, I think that there is a distinct possibility that this dungeon might be getting reoccupied, particularly on the basis that this room was a goblin's barracks. So have any of the other goblins returned? Let us maybe ponder that with a die roll. So I'm saying that maybe on a 1 in 6, some goblin activity has returned. We get a 4. So it is empty, the room. Also, I think we might have another little thought about our overall strategy as we are walking through here. And maybe we have persuaded Weberan that his course of action might lead us into further complications and is distracting us from our overall objective. I think there's maybe a 50-50 chance that we manage to persuade him or say to him, at least, let us do a bit of exploring and then come back to the catacombs. Let us actually see if we can come across anything that is going to support our overall mission. So let us. I'm not going to say it is going to be an overriding chance. Let's say it's a 1 or 2 on a d6. Otherwise, we are off to the catacombs. So we do actually persuade Weberan that we might be wise to go a different route. And going into this goblin room now, this goblin, remember there was a goblin when we were fighting and it was trying to get out of here. So we think, well, this is probably a good place to explore. So Weberan is grumbling a bit. However, he does concede that he has been won over. You know, it's 4 against 1. Even though he had an amazing initial bit of rhetoric to get them on board. Probably the concession that he's going to get is that if this discovery doesn't lead anywhere, they will return to the catacombs. Also with the proviso that they will return to the catacombs no matter what. So if they are doing lots and lots of exploration, it leads to nothing. The catacombs will always be a target for them to come back to. So he does seem kind of grumbling sort of way. He seems satisfied to that. But in the meantime, we do have a little bit of a chance to get through into this through this door. So with door opening, we can consult the dungeon. I was going to say the Dungeon Master's Guide, but it isn't. This is the Holmes rulebook, the basic rulebook, and with just remind myself with doors are usually closed and often stuck or locked. They have to have the locks picked or be smashed open. A roll of 1 or 2 indicates the door has been forced open. Of course, the party has to hit the door several times before getting their roll of 1 or 2. Okay, so I will say that the characters are going to try to bash this door down, and they say, Weberan, over to you. Let's see whether you can get that to activate it and give us the older Weberan door opening thump. So on a 1 or a 2, Weberan gets the door open. He doesn't. He goes, whoa, that's hurt my shoulder. So, okay, Argenta, she's going to give it a shot. She does. So Argenta manages to open the door. So we say, Dungeon Master, what is beyond the door? And the Dungeon Master says, right, okay, I'm going to tell you. And he says, right, before you see a corridor which goes on for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 60 feet. You can see 30 feet in your lantern if you want to progress further. So we carefully move up the lantern, illuminating. It ends in another door. Okay, we say, right. Another door for us, Dungeon Master. We are making a bit more progress into this. We are heading south at last. Is this important for our adventure? So, we are at the position where we need to do a bit of a check again on opening the doors. So we'll say, Weberan, let's see whether you can get your door opening skills returned. He says no. Argenta steps forward. She tries to open it. She gets a no. And we're going to have one last. We'll say, what about you, Farah? Or maybe Farah should be more ready with her bow. So let's get Candela. I always forget what her name is. I think it is Candela, isn't it? Yeah, Candela. That's the only one name in the party that I can never quite remember. She doesn't. So we are going to open it next time, but my goodness, we have made an almighty racket. That has probably brought everybody in the catacomb towards us. We are going to probably, we don't, I would say that that's going to maybe take, let's just get our reckoner out. So that would have taken, we were saying that it was probably going to take a turn because we've had a bit of an internal discussion. So a turn to get to there, and then to map this, our mapping speed is, according to the Holmes manual, is for fully armored people is 120. So we haven't quite, we've only done 60, we've done half. So we're at about 1.5, but opening the doors, I think they take, they probably don't take too long to do. So maybe in total, because we've had some problems with those, we've done 2 turns. Okay. We've got this door open now. Dungeon Master says, right, what you see before you is it is a room which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it is 70 foot wide. Okay, and it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 50 feet deep. Okay, another significant room for us. And he says, turning to his key, he says, this is an almost empty room with a 6-foot tall stone statue in the center. Okay, so in the center, let's just put this circular thing here. There is a stone statue. There is a door in the middle of each wall, north, south, east, and west. The statue is facing the door by which the party just entered. So it is facing us. It is maybe a tall knight champion, something of that sort. There is a door here. There is a door here. And there is a door here. Okay. So according to the Dungeon Master says, apart from that, the door that you have open, every other door is closed and the statue is facing you. This room is empty. What do you do, party? So we say, well, we're going to probably have to map this. That's going to take us maybe a couple of turns to do that. So we get our reckoner out. 1, 2. We'll just check our sheet where our rules for wandering monsters. Dungeon Master says, right, let me just consult my tables and see what is my incidence for checking wandering monsters according to what my guidelines were. I have them originally written down. He says, yeah. Each 3 turns. So we should have checked for that while you are mapping. So we are going to check for a wandering monster when we're in this room, and that's going to be, excuse me, on a 6, we are going to get a wandering monster. So we don't. So we have done our wandering monster check. We'll just put that in there. So we can fully map that room out. That is what we have done. We feel that it has been adequately mapped. It doesn't really seem to be anything that's revealing what this statue is all about. We haven't really approached it in any detail. We don't really feel that we can do that just now until we are confident that we have the entire room mapped out. The Dungeon Master says, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to check it for anything else? Is there anything else that you want? And the party says, right, we're not entirely sure about this. We don't really like the look of this statue. And we're not quite sure what's going on with these other doors. They all seem to be maybe related. You know, that is maybe the feeling that's coming through with the party. They are reasonably suspicious of this. Also, I am looking at the time just now, and I'm thinking, right, I think maybe we could come to a bit of a juncture. We've done quite a lot in this episode. We've gone through some of the town encounters. We've had some interaction with some of the local population in Porthaven, with the shop, with Jangle Bones. And we've actually had an encounter as well. We've decided to have a bit of internal debate, and where we've decided actually let's stick to mission. In the end, it's taken a while to persuade Weberan. Maybe his feelings are a bit hurt, but that was the policy that we'd have with Weberan, is trying to keep quite a tight leash on him. We have now reached a rather enigmatic room with the statue in it. We probably want a bit of time, maybe just to think about it. Work out what our strategy is. What I will do for the next episode is maybe just have the characters consider, what is this, what is their approach to this room? What are they going to, probably, almost as if they were a real party. Because with the Holmes, that's what I found with Tower of Zenopus, is that it is full of little puzzles and tricks and traps, and to actually try to solo that, you've really got to almost get inside the head of the characters and come up with maybe some little game plans that you can do. And I'm thinking that probably the best way to do that is through a kind of random mechanism of the different options. So we've probably demonstrated that quite I was going to say effectively, but by doing the kind of the monologues about the decision whether to keep to mission or go to the catacombs, and then come up with a percentage die roll, we could probably do the same kind of thing with this room and come up with some little options. And I think that will make it a bit of a richer role-playing experience, and really, because I had a feeling that every single room we've given quite a bit of justice to, and I really want to do that with this room, if this has got anything in it that is of a secret or an interesting origin. Okay, yeah, right. Well, that was an interesting delve back in. We have returned to the Tower of Zenopus. The characters are in what appears to be a rather strange room with a statue in it. They are considering how this, whatever, if there is a mechanism, how it works. The Dungeon Master has satisfied us that we have some time now, because we have just missed our Wandering Monster check. We have completed the mapping of this room. Let us find out what further secrets the Tower of Zenopus conceals from us in future episodes. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching this one, and I will see you next time.